Hey, record loving friends, this is Brian from tokyorecordstyle. I have been taking you on various adventures around Tokyo with me, and last weekend I was really excited to take you to a very special exhibition. It was a great little adventure that I had, except that I made a couple of major mistakes. Now, as you know, or maybe you don't, I'm a photographer. I've been a professional photographer for some 25 years or something like this. This is actually one of my very first cameras. This is the Nikon FE. It has my name and my same old email I've been using on it. And it's a beautiful little gizmo. It's a little kind of nice little thing. And I don't really use this camera much anymore, but I really do love this old Nikon FE. It just does the job. It's got these nice little details on it, and this kerning and these little vibrant numbers, and like it's just so lovely to look at. If you can look at these numbers and know what they mean, you're one of the I'm going to guess one of the few people who actually kind of knows how to really work a camera. I think a lot of us sort of think that we know how to use one, but if you were really put to task, would you know what all of these little digits do? And I'm going to guess that yes, a lot of you do, and maybe some of you kind of understand, but there's a lot to this actually. Even though cameras are relatively simple devices, they can be kind of tricky to use, and I want to get to that here in just one second. But as a photographer, I've had assistants, I've been an assistant, and I've had a very big photography community that surrounds me. And I once brought a question up among some photography friends: what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a photo shoot? And people have said, oh, I lost my memory card, or my hard drive died in the middle of the shoot, or the customer was really upset, or it rained, or, you know, all manner of things. But one of my friends really nailed it, and he said, you show up and nobody has any ideas. That is the big fail. If nobody has any ideas, then you're really stuck. But if you've out of batteries in your flash, you can run to the store and get some of those. If you need to bounce light off a window, you can move light around sometimes. But if you don't have some creative ideas, you're not going to get very far with photos. You need a bit of imagination and chutzpah. You need a little bit of photography. Sometimes is a little bit of a performance, and you need to basically, be able to improvise, much like a musician. If you can, pick up the tune, know if it's the 1-4-5, or know the turnaround, how to play the bridge, or the basic tenets of music, and as with photography, then you can basically survive any situation. Well, the thing that went wrong on this recent trip that I went on, that I wanted to bring you along on, is that I was using a camera that I've been using since I started my sort of YouTube channel. It's kind of a new camera to me. I was misusing it. I did this thing. Let me grab it real quick. I've been using the, among other cameras, DJI Action 4 camera. It's kind of a cool little camera. This is the camera. It's this little guy. It's an action camera, and it's got a screen on the front, and it's got a screen on the back, and it's got fingerprints on it. But that's basically it. And you can actually use it this way, or you can use it this way. And it's awkward. This is not a form factor that I'm familiar with. And it's taken a little bit of it's been a learning curve to try to use this camera. And just knowing how hard I am on cameras, I got this roll cage for it, basically, this heavy duty cage. And sure enough, if you were to take a look at this thing, it's got some dings on it. It's fallen off the motorcycle once or twice. It's fallen off my person. And so I was clever to get this. The camera fits right in here. This little job is made by Small Rig for the DJI Osmo action camera. Just kind of locks into place here. Once you're in, it's got a nice little hard frame for it so that it doesn't get busted, and you can use it in this orientation or in this orientation. What's more is that I'm using these mics, these wireless microphones, which are also part of the DJI family. This is the DJI Mic 2 or something, and it's got a little clip on it. It's got a little magnet on it. You might see me wearing it here. It helps like block out the background noise and just kind of level up the audio quality a little bit. Maybe if you want to know about these cameras, I'll leave some links in the show notes. But the way that this works is that this little guy fits on you, and you can also do this if you want to do, hey, what's your name, blah, 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 and basically you got a little magnet. It fits on real nice, and then it's got this little guy that's a receiver, okay? And it comes on, and once I turn my mic on here, these two guys start talking to each other. Check, 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 check. Okay, so you can see the levels moving on it when I talk into it. It's not recording yet, but what I do is I take this little guy and I stick him on my little frame. He's got a little kind of cold shoe, like a hot shoe, but without any power. And I run this little USB-C cable to it. And then the audio that I record onto this goes directly into the video file that I put on the camera. What I'm doing is I've got this selfie stick / tripod that's just by this company named Ulanzi. You may have seen it online, and it's got a little aftermarket little attachment guy, and I can do this with it and turn it into a little tripod, or I can turn it into this. And this is how I've been shooting and this thing goes real long, and I can use it as a tripod. And I basically, for vertical video, I use it like this, and for horizontal video, I use it like this. And what happens is I can see my voice going on this thing, and I can make sure that it's recording me. So this is what I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, this is Brian. I'm here on the great, cool record shop, blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching the front screen right here and my little thing, and I'm going, okay, I'm okay. But what often happens is that I press record, and sometimes I think I'm recording, okay, there's the red light. And when it's not a red light, it's a green light. It's just confusing. And sometimes I'm recording myself, and sometimes I'm not recording myself, but I'm thinking that I'm recording myself because I'm seeing little lights flicker on and off, these little things. And what I'm trying to say is that for this really amazing adventure that I wanted to take you on, I kept starting it when I thought I was stopping it, and stopping it when I thought I was starting it. This has happened over and over, and I'm sitting here talking to my camera, it's not recording, and I'm saying, hey, it's Brian, everybody, and hey, okay, and then I turn it off, and then I actually start recording. And so it's got footage of me just walking around and being like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. Let me get this going. I took you all to Ebisu, where I worked for a long time, and there's the Photographic Art Museum there. I thought there was a photo exhibition that I really wanted to take you to see. On my way, I met my good friend Ben Bale just randomly, and he said, oh, that's cool, I'll go with you. He's a photographer. And I said, oh, my buddy Bryce is gonna come, so the three of us will go together. So we show up at the museum only to find out that the show's over. Oh my God, was I wrong? I thought the show was still going on. And in fact, it was, but not at the Photography Museum, where I just assumed it was because it was sort of a high caliber show. Found out that it was at Mori Art Museum in Roppongi Hills, which wasn't too far away. So we reconvened and we said, let's go over to Mori. And so I got my camera off and I said, all right, let's head on the train. We'll take you on another adventure over to Mori. What happened is I ended up, like I said, starting it when I thought I was stopping it, and stopping it when I thought I was starting it. And I missed a lot of these like clips that I wanted to add to this video to help tell the story. So it's a situation where something tragic has happened on my photo shoot. So what do? Do I chalk it up, throw it all away, start over, or do I roll with the punches and improvise? And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making a little intro video to explain to you what happened, and hopefully just try to show you that this is sort of the trials and tribulations of being a photographer and actually being a videographer and YouTuber and so on. We just have to like sometimes make do with what we've got. I could go back and try to redo it. I try to do that sometimes in my videos, but I'm just gonna sit here and try to explain this. And I've taken 10 minutes to hopefully convey this idea that if something happens with your shoot, don't get discouraged. Maybe there's a way to patch it up together, which is what I'm trying to do. What's funny, on top of all the mistakes that I made at the beginning of this video, I did the same thing at the end of the video, okay? The main thing that I want to show you, I think I managed to shoot it okay, and you're gonna get ready to see it here in a moment. But when I get to the final here, I did another one of these. Hey, I think I'm talking to the camera when I wasn't. Maybe you'll meet me again at the end of this video. What I am going to show you on this video, which you've probably already figured out by now if you've checked out the title and thumbnail of the video, is that it is the Paul McCartney Eyes of the Storm photography exhibition. Paul found 1,000 photographs of him and the boys, the Fab Four, on their tour in America, like the Ed Sullivan tour in 1963 and 1964. And there's a traveling show that's going around the world. It may have already been to your neck of the woods, but I was very fortunate to see the show in Tokyo. But I really did want to say to Paul, super respect, because despite he having a camera very much like this one, I think he actually had a Pentax. I heard that all the Beatles got these cameras, and you can, if you look at early pictures of Beatles, they've often got their little SLRs. They're old Japanese SLRs hanging around their neck. And they also had TLRs, twin lens reflexes, in a couple of shots. And I know they used different cameras. And of course, Paul's wife was an Eastman of the Kodak Eastman, Linda Eastman, before she was Linda McCartney. And, basically photographic royalty. To know what all these gizmos do and to know how they work, you kind of have to be, you can't just like wing it. And that's what I kind of wanted to say about the takeaway of this show, which I'll get to at the end here, but there were so many excellent photos. And I don't think Paul made a mistake. He wasn't a photographer like I've been for 20 some odd years, but he managed to get through 2 years of these tours. I'm sure there were some duds, but basically there was a ton of amazing photographs. So of course I have all the respect in the world for Paul the Beatle. Got my Beatles stuff all over the place, but respect to Paul the photographer. He knew what he was doing with a camera. You have like 4 or 5 things to think about when you're making photos. You've got the shutter speed, the aperture, the film speed or ISO, and then you have composition. And it's a precarious balancing act. And Paul really hit a home run out of the park. And let me come back and offer you my afterthoughts of the show, which I thought I recorded, but I'll record them here at the end. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Sorry it's taken me a little bit of time to get here, but off we go. We have finally come to the right place to see the show that I've been waiting to see. Paul McCartney photographs 63 and 64 Eyes of the Storm. We're here in the underpass of Roppongi Hills station, and we are approaching the belly of the giant legendary Roppongi institution that was built some 25 years ago, right before I arrived in Tokyo. And it was the shiniest, brightest new futuristic building for a good several decades. And now it's been overshadowed by a few other buildings that are taller and shinier and glassier. But Roppongi Hills is still pretty cool. And we're gonna take you to the top. This is the giant cylinder structure that you can see from the highway and see from outside with big advertisements on the outside of it. Roppongi Hills is an office building where YouTube actually had its offices. Is YouTube still here? Apple's here, and maybe Google has since moved to Shibuya, I think. But the original Google and YouTube offices were here. At the top of the building are some very famous, oh my gosh, there might be a long line of people waiting for this show. I don't know. But here we are. Does anybody know the name of the artist here? Let's tell me again. French. Louise Bourgeois has made the beautiful, intense. Beautiful is maybe the wrong way to describe this. The interesting, captivating. Thank you, Bryce. Public artworks that I believe there are several of them around the world. And this is one that is here in Tokyo. We're outside the giant 50 some odd story Roppongi Hills Tower, where we are going to go to the top to show you the Paul McCartney exhibits. And we are going to the Mori Art Museum, which is at the top of this pretty cool tower that you can see from all spots of Tokyo. There's an interesting glass corridor that we are going to go into the entrance, walk across this sky bridge over to the entrance of the gallery and up to the top floor. Over here in the promenade, there's a big concert festival going on. Ben knows the secret way up the spiral staircase. Oh, outside here is a big festival grounds. I can see there's like a concert going on outside, public artworks, and a big pond and green space. And we're in full-on Tokyo Central. Futuristic, crazy Tokyo Central. Here we are at the Paul McCartney show. Let's get a ticket. 2,600 yen. A little bit more expensive than I thought. 2,600, which is about, I don't know, 20 bucks, 20 US. There's our ticket. Heading in here. Okay. We're here. Still going. You can see the sweat on my brow.
Oh, my ears are popping. Mori Art Museum.
All right, here we are. Do I need my ticket again? Tokyo City View.
You can to this one.
Okay.
Do you have
You sure? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Hi. Okay, we've had to take the selfie stick off, but that's okay. Oh, cool. Wow, look at young Paul. Woohoo, the Fab Four. That's pretty cool. Wow, there they are. Look at that nice film stock. You can really appreciate the grain, right? You can really appreciate the film grain. It's very nice. Who's your favorite Beatle? Who's your favorite Beatle, Bryce?
I'm gonna go dark horse candidate.
Yeah, we're of the same thinking.
Yeah.
We're George guys.
George,
Yeah.
my pound for pound, wrote the best songs.
George is my hero. I love John and Paul too, but yeah, it's this really cool space. So Paul is up here on the wall. There's giant pictures up here. It's this really cool space, and let me show you a view of spectacular Tokyo. Holy moly, check this out. Bum, ba, ba, bum. Welcome to my city. There's Tokyo Tower. There's the new Mori building. I'm spacing the name of it. I just went to the top of it. It's absolutely spectacular. There is Tokyo Bay over there and Bay Bridge way off in the distance. And you can even see Rainbow Bridge just over there. What a glorious day it is today. How lucky are we? Over here in this way, you can see Skytree, which is the tallest freestanding structure in the entire world. There's an interesting building complex down here, this white thing that I've never seen before. I don't know what that is. And just amazing city. Tokyo really is like a jewelry box. And when you see this thing at night, it sparkles like the prettiest diamond you've ever seen. There's the Shoto Highway that takes you all around the city. Over there in the distance, you can just see a green rooftop. That is the Imperial Palace. And over there off in the far distance, on the far left of the frame, you can see the Budokan, where the Beatles played in 1963, 64? The Beatles played 5 shows in one visit to the Budokan. You can see it just off there in the distance. It's like right about there. And right on the other side of the building, on the other side of the green, over here is the Imperial Palace. I can point out some of these things to you. There is the Skytree. I think if I can see it correctly, Skytree is right here. The very big red tower, Tokyo Tower. Rainbow Bridge is somewhere hiding over here. And man, just like, what a city. What a city. I'm gonna show you some more perspectives of it while we're here. Sweating. But, wow. It's really hot. There are 3 big murals up here on the wall. Paul's got like an old single lens reflex, old Nikon probably, smoking a cig, smoking a fag. Probably shooting into a mirror. What a scene, man. This is just so cool. Oh, and this was at the, I think this was at the Capitol Hotel. I've seen this before. This is the Beatles head bronze. Original owner Brian Epstein. Whoa. Whoa. I'll get closer. You can see a little bit closer. Wow. Wow, that is really cool. George there at the top. Wow, amazing. Oh, check this out. Check this out. That's the Pentax. Is that the Pentax that Paul used? Oh. Everywhere I went, I just took pictures. I was definitely looking for interesting shots, angles, lighting, compositions. Wow. Okay, I'll read this to you. Here's the show introduction. In 2020, a trove of nearly 1,000 photographs taken by Paul McCartney on a 35 millimeter film camera was rediscovered in the musician's archive. They are a personal record of his time with the Beatles at a critical moment in the group's evolution. Through his lens, Paul McCartney captured the Beatles' extraordinary journey city by city, from Liverpool and London in the late '63 to Paris and then to the United States in February of '64. The group's televised performances on the Ed Sullivan Show were watched by around 73 million people, transforming the Beatles into a global superstars and redefining fame in the modern era. The photographs reveal the intensity of touring, of long days spent in rehearsal in hotels and traveling, followed by the media at every stage. McCartney's photographs evoke an affectionate family album, picturing his fellow band members. I'm getting choked up. John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, at a time when their lives were irrevocably changing. Where Paul McCartney appears in the photographs, he had handed his camera to one of the Beatles team, enabling us to capture glimpses of him performing on stage or posing for pictures. Wow. Wow. It's like Beatles history. Oh my God. These are Paul's pictures. Okay, I've got a flash here. I've got a flashing LED screen, but we'll see if we can. Maybe I'll take some pictures here that you can see later. These are darkroom prints. Here's one of the technicians in the darkroom. I don't think that's Paul, but the photographic paper is going under the enlarger in the red light, and they've already pulled focus and made sure that there's some accuracy and there's some dodging that's going on that you can see. The artist is using, or the darkroom technician is using some tools to dodge and burn, and he's putting the paper, which has been first coated with an emulsion, into the developer after it's been exposed with light, and the picture just slowly appears, and it looks like it might be Linda. I think that's Linda, maybe. It doesn't quite resemble Linda to me, but it could be. And after it goes into the development bath, it goes into the stop bath, which stops the chemicals from developing any further. Basically, there are some silver halide crystals in the emulsion that react to light, and they create these different tones of gray, and it goes initially into the developer, then into the stop, and then into the fix bath. And the fix bath is what fixes the final image and keeps it from developing any further. And now it's drying, and that's the magic of the darkroom. Wow. Okay, and it looks like he's using fiber-based paper, because you'll see that it has these little curls, and now comes the retouching component, where little details are matched and cleaned up, and little spots that were left in the darkroom process, either like specks of dust on the film itself or on the paper, are removed and cleaned up in the printing process. Off there in the very far distance, you can see Haneda. You can see actually maybe a cruise ship or some very large boat there in Tokyo Bay. And let's go see the rest of this show. We haven't even entered the gallery yet. Wow, I'm so excited. Okay, so here's the timeline. Melody Maker. These are some original magazines, newsprints, TV programs, an original 45 of Les Beatles. Oh, there's Brian Epstein with the 4 bronze Beatles that we just looked at a moment ago. And so funny that this is an image that we're looking at because today I went to my daughter's school for the talent show, and the girls, it's an all-girls school, and the girls were going absolutely bonkers. Beatles, Carnegie Hall, the program, the exclusive story and pictures in America, real cool in the pool. Wow. Whoa, Muhammad Ali. There's that crazy picture. And there's the timeline, and here we go. For those who do not have a ticket for Paul McCartney, okay. Eyes of the Storm. Okay. Cha. はい。 Photography allowed except some works. Okay. Please do not touch the exhibits. 了解しました。ありがとうございます。Okay. ありがとうございます。すみません。So this is the image we just saw. On tour London, 1963. Wow, I'm not sure who that is. Is that like, I wish I knew, like Carl Perkins or somebody? Wow. Backstage, John and Paul. Tour in London. Oh, I'm gonna need some of your help to tell me who everybody is. So leave a comment when you recognize a familiar face. It seems that they have not used English captions. Wow, little young Ringo. Looks like that's Paul right there in the foreground, maybe taking a photo into the mirror, and John and Ringo here in the back. Whoa, dapper John with his chunky specs on. Is that Mal Evans? I'm not sure. It looks like a young Mal. This is the show. I think there's going to be more. But my goodness, there's quite a lot to see here. And you Beatle aficionados are going to scold me for not knowing every single person and every single photo, and I ought to know better. But I'm not so knowledgeable about the entire story of all the Beatles and all their family of colleagues and girlfriends and mates, and I'm guessing these might even be here's young Ringo in '63. It seems Ringo is quite photogenic. He seems to be appearing in the photos more frequently than John or George. It's a little bit unfortunate that they haven't given us some English, but okay. kind of wish I had like a little tour guide. We've got a lot to look at, but I'll keep on this wall for now. And it seems Paul's got a little pencil-thin mustache here going on in this one. And young Ringo. And wow, cool George with his Chelsea boots on. What a pose. Dang, this is a triptych of Georgeness. What a great little 3-part series. Wow, George. It says here, the photographs remind me of an England that was more my parents' generation than my own, of the early concerts and those original fans of Beatlemania, a true English invention of a London that in 1963 spoke of a promise and ambition and everything new to 4 young men from the north. Paul McCartney. Oh, I've seen this photo before in like, I think this might be the one that they've been using for the, okay, maybe Jane Asher. I'm not sure. I think Paul's first girlfriend was Jane Asher, and I should know this kind of detail, but if you're not steeped in Beatles knowledge, then you won't really know. But here's Paul photographing himself in the mirror, which I've done many times. And we've got some pretty dramatic pictures of, I'm guessing, young love. I have photographs like this in my own collection of my own past closest friends. Very cool. And contact sheets. Funny picture. Wow. That's a statement from one of the concerts. Their billing statement. Christmas show, Fishburne Park. A nice little collage here of photos. Fun one of Ringo. And somebody will know the boys and some other musicians, I'm guessing, backstage, part of the Christmas show at Finchburg Park. And they're really lovely. Fun one of Ringo here again. Wow, what a beautiful smile. Another really beautiful smile. Paul must have really brought out smiles in people. So cool. Ha. George wearing the double hat, the hat on a hat. That's a thing. Very cool. Man, Ringo sure does know how to make smoking look pretty cool. The Fab Four. And help me out here. Who is this coming off the airplane in the hangar? Backstage, I think. Maybe it's just like the set. The boys goofing around. Wow, handsome Brian Epstein. Wow. John and Rachel will know some of these. Wow, look at John. He barely looks like himself with his chunky glasses on. I wonder if he used to, I remember he wore contact lenses maybe? George asleep here in the back of the car. Some images that were waxed out with a wax pen. They didn't make the cut on the contact sheet, but maybe they survived somehow. Look at this little microphone. John looking a little unsure of himself. Same with George over here, although he does have a bit of a cheekiness about him that you can't help but really find endearing. The quiet Beatle, so they said. I'm guessing this might be like Paul's dad, or maybe their, old Uncle Philip, or whoever these guys are. I seem to somehow think those curtains look familiar from his house, maybe some old videos I've seen. Probably mistaken, but wow, look at babyface John there in the mirror. John brushing his hair. Oh my God. Wow. Here we are in Paris. There's so many photographs. Wow. Back and think, wow, we did that, and we were just kids from Liverpool, and here it is, these photographs. Boy, how great does John look, how handsome is George, and how cool is Ringo wearing his funny French hat. It's too much. Whew. George does look pretty handsome. Ringo does look pretty good. Wow. George and John, beautiful. Wow. Talk about intimate photo. Wow. I think that's my favorite so far. And this one too. John just staring into the lens. Here in Paris, Ringo wiped out on the couch, looking cozy, but wiped out. I should know who their buddies are. Kind of cool headcrop photo. You think it's a ruined photo, but you go back to the darkroom and you find that it's actually awesome. Life is Prettier in Soft Focus, a great one of Brian Epstein. John on the 6th string with the roses in the foreground. Who is this character I keep seeing? すいません。これは誰ですか? That's Neil Aspinall. Okay, finally I understand who it is. Neil Aspinall. Okay. Engineer, I think. Manager. I'm not totally sure, but wow, look, they're working on the different ways the Beatles could be written. Holy smokes. Wow. I want to hold your hand. Holy moly. Tell you something, I think. I want to hold your hand. Original lyrics, my goodness. Good grief. I need to take a little bit more time to realize, oh, this is a great photo. all the journalists and onlookers looking back. You out there? Nice to see you, dude. Thanks for coming. Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for the...
No, it's good.
Yeah,
I'll check your channel.
Okay, yeah, check it out. Yeah. Okay, hold on. So Ben's leaving. Bye, Ben. Thanks for coming. See you, Ben. That's cool. Ben made it to the show. He's taking off. And I'm just taking my time here because I got nowhere else to be. Look at John. Look how handsome he is. He's just smiling for Paul. It's so cool. I see a Rollercord, Rolleiflex, another Rolleiflex. Looks like it might be a Mamiya Pentax maybe. There's a Leica. There's an old 8mm camera. They're also excited to see Paul. How cool is that? Wow. Oh, this is the making of the bronze statue. Ringo makes me want to smoke a cigarette. God, the prints are real nice. I wish you could kind of see how nice the prints are. They made a lot of effort to make them really gorgeous prints. Spent a lot of time, and you won't be able to see them so well with the reflection, but man, they look great. They look really great. Dang, where is John Lennon? Man, what the world needs now. Okay, here the boys are in their silly French hats. Oh man, très chic, so cool. Actually, George just completely crossed off. So cool. Oh, Trini Lopez. Michael will like that. On the same bill as the Beatles, Les Beatles. Trini Lopez, Sylvia Vartan. C'est magnifique. And there's Paul with his Pentax. Japanese camera. Pretty cool. John taking in some of himself. Posing for their bus. Oh, fun. Too much fun. I can hear some music. Ooh, my lovin'. I might have to pick some different music for right now so as not to get a copyright infringement. Wow, look at these awesome photos. Paul's a great photographer. These are like all in focus and all nicely exposed. Wow. All right, home every day. This is a big show. This is a very big show. There's gotta be some, 1,000 photos. There's a lot of photos here. It's very cool. And I think we're coming to an area where some photos are not okay. I can hear somebody explaining that photos are not okay in some area. Square format, which suggests it might be a TLR 6x6. I read the news today, oh boy. Oh my gosh. Mori Art talks about the first or last frame of a roll of film when you sometimes only get half of a frame, and this is one of those examples. And he says that we sometimes throw those photos away as mistakes, and we should maybe consider how they might not be any less important than other photos. And if we didn't know that to be true, then we wouldn't have this photo of John. So thank you, Paul, for understanding what Daido Moriyama knew. Okay, this is an interesting format. I don't think this is a 35mm frame. Maybe it is. No photography. There's so many photos. Oh, that's John's wife. That's Cynthia. That's how I didn't recognize her. I'm sure that's Cynthia. I saw her in the previous photo. I'm sure that's Synth, as they've called her. We had fun with each other, whatever we did and wherever we went. It could be the most nerve-wracking thing, but we had this strength of the union. If we were nervous, we'd laugh at it. It was a safety valve which relieved the pressure. I think I saw Paul talking about one of these photos that they ended up blowing up and found like a monkey in one of the photos. There was this big crowd, might have been even like this one, and they like zoomed in to find like there was a woman carrying like a monkey. I'm not sure if it was this one. Everybody's so excited to see them. Let's have a quick look at these. Oh. Cups look like there's some bruisers. Some pandemonium. In the airport, oh, speed graphic. Old graphics camera. It's really cool to see all the old cameras. There's a Nikon, a couple of Nikons maybe. It might be Pentax, I'm not sure. This guy looks really happy. Oh, we can see him really clearly here. Those are Fs, I think. Those are Nikon Fs. I'm not sure what this one is, but I bet Osawa-san would know. There's a Rolleiflex. Man, this guy, he's immortalized in Paul's photo. It's beautiful. Everybody's having a good time, even the coppers. And here we are, we're going to New York. I think we just left, was that Paris? Or maybe they're right when they got to New York. Wow. Wow. New York. Mayflower. Wow. Look at this. They're chasing them down the boulevard. Good grief. What a print. Thing is enormous. This was something we wanted so that when it happened, when there were crowds outside the Plaza Hotel and the mounted policemen were holding them back, it was like being in a very exciting film, and we were the stars. More cameras just pointing at them all the time. It reminds me of John Seipel's series Gaijin Like Me, where, you know, it's breaking one of the tenets of street photography, and that's not to point the camera directly at somebody, to be invisible, so to speak, but they are so not invisible. And John's funny series Gaijin Like Me is a little twist on being invisible. Here's an old Nikon with a motor drive. I think I have a camera like that in my collection. An old 8 millimeter. I don't know if that would be an 8 millimeter or a 16 millimeter camera, but I don't know anything about those old cameras. Oh, here they are in Central Park. Wow. Here's the Ed Sullivan Show. No photography here. Ronnie Spector. Cynthia, I think. Whoa. There's John looking a little unfocused. Ooh, something a little different. That's pretty cool. Wow, Paul wasn't afraid to stick his camera up in people's faces. Interesting. These are the police officers. Look at that. He's right up in their face. Very close. That's a great photo. Fantastic. This one too. Maybe a view from their hotel, Central Park in the distance, Upper West Side, New York and Washington, D.C. Gringo. Looking cool again, smoking cigarettes. Okay, Paul's getting a little bit, little something different. Getting a little artsy. Oh, nice. Here comes George Martin. There's the guy working the train yards. Wow, look at young, handsome George Martin. Look at that hair. Damn, he's probably got to be like 28. He looks young. I mean, he looks like a senior advisor, but if you really look at his face, he looks like a baby. Christian Keeler goes nudist plus playgirls. Wow. At the Hippodrome. Art. Very cool, Paul. Oh, the White House. That's cool. Washington, D.C. Got to see all the sights. It was winter time. Snow all over the place. And we're getting ready to go into Miami here. Washington, D.C. and Miami. Oh, there's the Capitol building. Rachel will love this one. Do not enter. Nicely positioned. There's an old T-bird Somebody hanging a Leica out the window. Very cool. The Coliseum, Tuesday night, February 11th, 8:30. The Beatles sold out. Amazing. The gals at the hotel, the restaurant. It looks like there's George Martin off in the distance. I'm not sure who that is. Washington, D.C. Some people maybe looking into the car, trying to get a glimpse of the Beatles. Rolling into Miami. Wow, look at this girl. Look at that. Look at that Beatlemania right there. Wow, she found them. Look at that hair. Cool. Oh yeah. Paul was curious about. That's quite a shot. The motorcycle cop. So many details going on here. The gun, the bullets, the holster, the badge, the pressed uniform, the motorcycle chrome and details, the little box on the back. That's a great photo, Paul. Wow, so fun. Miller High Life. That's Florida, definitely. Everybody getting a glimpse of the Beatles. That could be my dad. That could be my mom. What a trip. Souvenir City. That's crazy. They all look so happy. Wow, lucky you guys. Wow, this is a shot. Wait till you see this. This is a shot. Okay, this must be their hotel. Wow. Okay, they each got these little kind of private beaches. There's an airplane carrying a message in the sky. There's only one Mr. Pants. Look at this. Holy smokes. Look at this. That is too much. Nice specs, George. Look, he's got acne. He's so young. I know what you were taking a picture of here, Paul. Wow. This is Miami. The Miami treatment. That's a freaking great photo. George looks so cool. Getting a cocktail, smoking a cig. Looks like it was a rough night the night before. Even Ringo's got acne. Good grief. They're so young. It's like shaving cuts. It's not acne. It's they've got that baby face skin. They haven't shaved 10,000 times. Wow, fun. Beach party. Beach house party.
You have to be a fan and then recognize yourself in one.
Bring Ringo, Paul. Bring Ringo, Paul. I love something. Look at this fan. She's so happy. Paul, come on. Look at this one. She sees him. There he is. They spot him. Seagulls. This is so fun. This is so much fun. It's like mayhem at the beach. They can't even go to the beach. It's just too much. Oh, George with the camera. Look at young hip George Martin. Good grief. Looking good, George. Looking svelte. Look at this beautiful, lovely lady here you're hanging out with. George with his camera. What does he have? That's a Pentax, I think. And George with his lovely, nice photo, Paul. Dang, these are great photos. They're really good. It's like this lovely foreground. Looks like Cynthia again. Leads you through the photo. Nice color. Dang, look at George. Looking pretty darn cool. Jack Purcell's. Putting on some sand screen. The Pan Am bag. John and Synth. There's funny John. He doesn't look like he's much of a Miami guy. That's a good-looking coif officer. Somebody making sure that no trouble goes down at the beach house. John just not quite, maybe going along with the beach fun just because. Oh, this just goes on. Okay, we're here nearing the end. Okay, Miami must have been like the end of the tour. Wow. I like sunglass Beatles. That's what I like. I like the sunglass Beatles. They look so cool. Wow, who is this cutie pie? Good grief, what a babe. Paul's looking hip as ever. His blue jeans on and his vest. He's caught a fish. He's not much of an outdoorsman, I don't think. Looks like a grouper. Wow. I don't really know who that is. I think it might be an old girlfriend. I don't know what Jane Asher looks like. But who lives? That's a great photo. Everybody's off duty. Ringo's on duty. As sharp as a tack. John taking a picture of Sam. Wow, that's a great photo. That is a great photo. Sharp as a tack. That's a 35 millimeter frame blown up to be A0. That's pretty impressive. Those old Japanese cameras. Okay, hello again. I hope you enjoyed that photo exhibition. It was absolutely spectacular. I was speechless. I was really left speechless. I couldn't even get myself together. Right as I walked out of the exhibition, I went and looked at the partners and collaborators and the credits of the show, and I wanted to give a very big salute to Sir Paul McCartney, who was listed on that list of credits, the main credit. And what was really What really stood out in the exhibition was that it was basically an exhibition of three Beatles, George, John, and Ringo. And Paul's absence was very noticeable in the exhibition. However, when you put yourself in the viewfinder of the photographer, it was an opportunity to really see things from Paul's point of view. And that was really the most interesting thing that I took away from the exhibition. Not only were they like fantastic photos, and not only was it a great story that they told, I really loved seeing all the different eras and the Paris and the New York and the people chasing them and the girls that were like, ah, there's Paul, or there's the Beatles. And they were just so funny. And all the photographers back at them and the police officers, the baggage people and the pilots and just everybody. It was a really fun story. And Paul did such a great job curating it. And, I liked how it went from black and white in the first 2/3, 3/4 of the show. And then when we get to Miami, it goes to color, and just so many intimate photos of like John really close up. You can like see his skin tone, and you see his eyes, and you see that brotherly love that they had for each other. And George in those cool shades, and Ringo looking so suave, smoking his cigarettes. And wow. I feel very lucky that I got to go see the show. Well worth the price of admission. I made a great memory. Didn't bring any trinkets home from the gift shop. Yeah, really fun. So thank you. I hope you made it through the video. I think it was probably ended up being a long one. And I tried to pepper in some higher quality images that I took with the camera along the way, so that you could get a better idea of the show. If you're in Tokyo, I think you've got about 10 or 12 more days to go see the show. We're at the very end. In fact, this coming weekend, check your calendar. It might be coming to an end soon. So I really encourage you, if you're here, go to the show. And if Eyes of the Storm, which is a great name for the exhibition, if it comes to your town and comes to your museum, or if it's an hour or two away to the next city to see it, I really recommend you go see it. If you're a Beatles fan, if you were part of that generation that was there, Paul, Ringo, George. If you were part of that generation, you're gonna love it. And if you just grew up with the Beatles in your ears, and you know all the stories, and you know all the sub-characters, and it's a fun show. So thank you for joining me on another adventure. Giant Beatles fan. So stoked to live in this great city that attracts exhibitions like this kind of show. And wow, that's all I can say is wow. She loves you, yeah. She loves you, yeah. Okay, until next time, see you at the record store. Bye.